You might have to twist this out. Once you do, you can pull this tab out of the corner. Work this corner out first because it's significantly easier to do. Once you've done that, pull out this side, turn it on this side. You'll see this plug that's connected to the internal light. Just pull it off. If you've got an LED, remember it'll be polarity based. That's it. Then you're left with the master cylinder here. I haven't done this in a very long time, so you'll have to bear with me, but you have to disconnect this as that's the brake level sensor. If you don't reconnect that, you'll have the handbrake light illuminated as if you pulled the handbrake up, and that'll just stay on permanently. There's also a float inside that controls that. You have to undo this line and this line. What I would highly recommend is you crack both of these, then crack the nuts that actually hold the master cylinder to the brake booster. Once you've cracked all of the nuts, then remove these lines. Keep a rag underneath here, otherwise you'll have a lot of overspill that you'll have to deal with. Keep that nice and clean, and you will pay dividends there. Once you've removed the lines, keep them to the side, keep them safe. Don't bend them, don't kink them. If you have to, you can pull them out from the clips here to give you a little bit more space. But again, don't bend them, because if you distort them, you can weaken them, so on and so forth. Once you've got them out, you can either drain the reservoir with a syringe. That's what I would recommend to do, is get a syringe or a grease gun, something like that. Drain as much fluid out of the reservoir as you can. Once you've done that, grab the reservoir and just lift it. Pull it straight off. It'll come out no problem. Again, use a rag, clean up your residue. Once you've got that out, then take out the two remaining nuts and give this a little wiggle. There'll be a little bit of a click as the plunger disconnects, and out it comes. Once you've got it out, you then need to swap on to the new one. The process is the same as removal. Again, push it in, tighten this bolt down, tighten this bolt down. Get everything lined up, put the lines in, tighten those in loosely. Once everything's loose, tighten up the two bolts at the back, tighten up the lines, make sure everything's secure, feels good, looks good. Put the reservoir back on. You can bench fill it if you wish. That's totally optional. I didn't do it myself personally. The manual states not to do it for the master cylinder. You may save yourself some bleeding time, but personally it never bothered me. Do that, and that's the master cylinder itself changed, and then you can get onto the process of bleeding. One thing to bear in mind is that once you do this, the pedal in the car will be useless. If you press it, it'll go straight to the floor, because there will be so much air in the system that you'll need to remove it. And one final point is, once you are bleeding, and you bleed the first corner, second corner, third corner, it's only when you get to the fourth corner should you actually get a firm pedal, because up until that point, you've still got air in the system. If you've bled the fourth corner and you've still got a spongy or a pedal that's going all the way to the floor, first of all, check the nipples. Make sure that the nipples are tight and that no fluid is escaping from them. Then secondly, if you've checked that and you've still got a soft spongy pedal, you've still got air in the system, and do the same loop again. Now, what a lot of people will tell you to bleed about the bleeding order is to use the one in the manual, but personally I'm not a fan of that, because it says to use the fronts first and all shit. But generally my premise when I bleed a car is to start with the longest line in the car, and in this instance the ABS pump is on the near side, which means that the rear off side will be the shortest, the longest line that you can bleed from. So start on the rear off side, then the rear near side, then go to the front off side and finish on the front near side. Oh, excuse me. By the time you've done all of that, you should be fine. Don't use a pressure bleeder because they're a pain. I've always found them quite difficult to use. Personally, I always use a vacuum pump, which is you just put it on the engine, you pump the vacuum, it pulls the fluid through, works great, works every time for me. Other people may have different experiences. Again, if that works for you, great. It makes no difference how you do it. All that matters is you extract the air from the system. That is it. Now, a quick little crash course in how to do that. My car is disgusting, but bear with. So there's two nipples on the car, on each caliper. The first one is on the outside. This is the first nipple you need to bleed. Always bleed the outside nipple first. So start on your corner, bleed the outside nipple. Once there's no air coming through, you can't see anything like that, and you've got clear fluid, so on and so forth, go onto the inner nipple and bleed that. Then go around, go to the next corner, rinse and repeat the process. Now, the key to the master cylinder change is once you've completed this, you've done the install, you've got all 4 corners, you may still have a slightly spongy pedal, which is possible. If you do, go out into the car, get the engine up to temp, get the brakes up to, get the brakes feeling a bit normal, get used to them. If there is some air in them, just keep repeatedly pumping them to compress the air. Then what you need to do is you're going to do a few emergency stops to trigger the ABS. When you trigger the ABS, it'll activate the pump, and the pump will push through any air that may be trapped between the master cylinder and the ABS pump, as it'll draw the fluid through. Then that fluid ends up in the lines post the ABS pump, and you'll be able to bleed those on your second time around. So again, just to recap. Open up the front, take out the bolt, T15 Torxes, take out the bolts, lift out the right hand side, make sure you take this tab, you might have to undo this, well, twist it to take it out, pull this side out first, pull this side out secondly. Once you get it out, pull it, tip it over, unplug this plug. Then come to the master cylinder, take the reservoir out, or drain it, and then take it out wherever way you want to do it. Again, if you're willing to catch the excess, the world is yours. Do it in your own time or own pace. Secondly then, is with this and the lines, break the lines off. Do not remove the lines, just crack them off. Then crack off the nuts that mounted to the brake booster. Once everything's removed, everything is loose, remove them one by one, take them out, put them to the side again. You can loosen off, you can pull them out of the clips here so that they can move freely and you can use them to your own accord. Wiggle the master cylinder, pull it out, you'll feel the plunger disconnect. It's like a little click or a pop. Again, I haven't done this in 4.5 years or something now. Once that's done, put the new master cylinder in, connect the lines up, again, loosely, connect the bolts up, loosely. Once everything feels good, tighten it all down, install the reservoir, put some fluid in the reservoir. At this point, because you're going to be doing so much bleeding, fill it as high as you want. Secondary tip from me as well is when you fill the reservoir, what a lot of people do is they take this out, this filter. Do not remove the filter. Leave the filter in and pour the brake fluid in through the filter. That ensures that you won't get any particles, dirt, or unwanted things or items, or I don't know, a bolt, something like that, into your reservoir and into your brake fluid. Trust me, you do not want to drop something in this. It's very hard to get it out because you have to take the whole thing out and drain it, and it's not worth the effort. Okay, once you've got it out, bleed the system. Bleed it in, either following the Porsche manual or in the order as I've stated, where the length of the lines, starting at the rear offside, then the rear near side, front near side, front offside, and then the front near side. Good luck.